as many of you know, I'm a holistic health coach and a therapeutic movement person. So I'm excited today to bring to you one of a 4-part series that I've been doing on getting rid of pain in terms of your holistic perspective of your body, and how our different sensory systems actually add to our pain and help us or prevent us from being totally well. So welcome Facebook as well. I'm streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So as everybody starts popping on, I just want to welcome you. If you're watching through Facebook or YouTube, please let StreamYard know that it's okay to see your name so that I can say hi to you. It's so important for me to know that you're watching and to know that this is helping you, because that's why I'm doing it. Taking some time out every week just to help people feel better and be well. So today, this part of the series is really talking about how some of the sensory systems that we overlook can really help us get out of pain. All right, so whether it's back pain, joint pain, headache pain, whatever pain you have, all of that pain begins in the brain. Okay, and when we feel the pain, we think, oh, that's, we point to the point in our body, and that's where we think the pain is. But really, pain is created in our brain. And so to alleviate that, there's 3 systems that are really a good target for. There's lots of other sensory systems. Last week, I talked about the sense of smell and how that can calm your emotions, which actually can affect your pain levels as well. So go back and watch that if you want to see some information about how your sense of smell can actually help bring down your pain levels. But today I want to talk about 3 systems: our visual system, okay, and our vestibular system, and our proprioceptive system. Okay, so visual, you probably get. The other 2 might be a little bit, you're like, what is that? All right, I'll explain here really quick. Visual, okay, so our visual system is huge because it takes a huge part of our brain up, and it helps us survive. Basically, it's the survival sense that we have so that we don't get eaten by the tiger, right? But what happens is, over time, that visual system can get weak and weakened, especially when we're on our phones all the time, we're looking at a computer all the time, we're driving. There's just so much of this in our life, and we don't use our eyes the way they're meant to be used, from our ancestors, and how, they were meant to really protect us. So if you're to go to the eye doctor, they're going to look at your visual acuity and see, how well you see, while you're standing looking at right in front of you. They're not going to test you in terms of how your eyes are working together and how they're, all the muscles are working to be able to see all the different ranges. Okay. So especially if you've had, contacts and glasses over time, a lot of that can, that doesn't help you to build that muscle. And so when I do visual work, I like to do it without glasses and without contacts. All right, for my students and my clients. So one exercise you can do for that is to be able to follow an object, and I'm going to show you some of these here in a minute. Okay, so the next system is your vestibular system. Okay, and that is your inner ear, and that tells your brain, what way is up, where's my body in relation to gravity. If you have vestibular issues, you can have dizziness, you can trip and fall. A lot of things can happen. Headaches, just all sorts of, migraine type stuff, really weird stuff can happen. And, it can come because of an injury or an illness. It can come because of a disease. One disease that I know of is called Meniere's disease. And that people get very dizzy and have trouble, just managing life when that onset comes on. So to help the vestibular system, we actually have to work it. And you have to work it in a way that it doesn't overload the brain. So the brain doesn't go into like fight or flight mode. All right. But that you slowly build that up. And a lot of people, if they've really had a bad injury or whatever, they'll go to an occupational therapist or an optometrist, but an eye doctor that will have a occupational therapist on staff. But some of this stuff is we have a mild issue and we can solve it on our own, right? And that's what I do. I help my students help themselves. All right, so that's, and also the vestibular system really works with the visual system. So they work together. So we want to work those in conjunction. And then the third system that was really overlooked in terms of preventing pain or stopping pain is your proprioceptive system, right? And that's all those little sensors in your joints that tell your brain the map of your body, right? So if we've had an injury, for instance, say you sprained your ankle or you hurt your knee, whatever, that map becomes very fuzzy to the brain. And so part of rehab needs to be to reorient the brain in terms of how that joint is in relation to the other parts of the body. So in my training and what I do in my work is I integrate all of these things into a holistic program to help people so that their brain knows where everything is and where they can find balance and their eyes are working correctly so that it's giving the brain correct information. So how does that all help, right? Pain. Well, when we start getting a lot of pain, it's because we have these threats that are building up, all right? Last week I showed a picture of a threat bucket, all right, which my teacher uses to explain it. So we get all these threats, and then all of a sudden pain starts seeping out the bucket. All right. So if we can eliminate some of these threats, then the brain isn't so overloaded and it can manage some of the pain. And then also the brain will have a better map. So the alignment in the body, the joints and what have you, will be working more correctly so that their chance of injury is less. You can actually rehab faster and you build strength so that you don't have problems. So when that proprioceptive system is off, the part of the brain that, and also the visual and the vestibular, the part of the brain that kind of keeps everything in balance and knows how to hold your body upright, it's just a little bit hindered. So when we work that, you start to feel huge differences. Okay. So I'm going to show you quickly how to just tell the difference with a few exercises here. But first we need to do an assessment, because how would you know if it's really helping you, right? And I like you to know right away if it's helping you. So I'm going to give you 2 assessments to try. Okay. The first one is I'm going to have you stand. And if you have poor balance, you can modify this. Okay. So a modification. So I'm going to have you stand on 1 foot, everybody. And a modification would be to stand with 2 feet together. Or if that's too easy, 1 foot in front of the other. Okay. So there's 3 choices. There's feet together. That's the easiest. 1 foot in front of the other, or on 1 foot. So you have 1 leg in the air bent. Okay. And then I want you to just stand there and notice how easy it is to stand without swaying. So I'm standing on my left foot right now. And my foot's working a lot to hold me here. Right. So that's how I kind of know how that balance is. Then I'm going to go to the other side. You want to hold each of these for about 15 seconds to make sure that, you're not compensating too much in a way that's just misleading. All right. So this side, I'm now on my right side, is easier for me. I'm much more stable over this leg. Right. So I know the difference between the 2. Okay. Then you can also do a joint mobility test. And so I have my students do this one a lot. If you have shoulder problems, don't do this. You can take your arms out to the sides like so. All right. And you want to keep your elbows as if they were on a glass plate. And you're just taking the forearms and the hands down, just going to where they naturally go. Don't force them. And then look and see how far you got. Okay. How the angle of your arms. Okay. So you could do that a couple times. Just see where that is, trying to keep those elbows at the same height. Okay. All right, so we'll just do the first exercise we're going to do is the visual. Okay, so you grab any pencil. You can use your thumb if you want to just do this right now with me and you don't have a pencil in front of you. And you take the pencil and you're going to take it to one side, bring it to the center, switch hands, take it to the other side. Now you'll notice I'm not moving my head at all. I'm just moving my eyes, watching that pencil from side to side. And you want to do this about 10 times, following it with your eyes. And you want to go as far as you can without moving the head. Okay, and your eyes might be getting tired, especially if you work on computers a lot. And if it's hard to follow, that might indicate something that you want to check into. Okay, so then you can blink really fast just to kind of release that. And then we could go and do a retest. So go into your balance position. I'm on one leg and I noticed immediately there's a difference in how I stand over that leg. Okay. It can be very subtle. It can be pretty amazing, right? Especially the first time you do it. And then switch legs and notice how you are on that side. Not as much difference on this side because this side for me was really good. And then we'll go back into this test, right? And let the arms go down. And if you remember, my arms were about right here and now they're here. So that gave my brain a better map so it could work better. Okay, so you can see how this could make a difference in if you're an athlete, right? And you want to throw better or you want to do something, you know, at a higher level. If you're a regular person and you go for walks or you do some kind of athletic fun thing and you don't want to hurt yourself, right? You want to make sure that you're healthy. You want to do some of this visual stuff to actually support that so that you don't actually fall or hurt yourself. The other thing, like I said, is vestibular is very tied to visual. Okay, so you can add things with it. And if you're going to do this, I would say start with a lower, an easier stand. So I'm going to start with my feet together on this one. And instead of standing on one leg, that means I have a better base. And then I'm just going to move my head left and right with my eyes. So eyes and head. Okay. And then you would go and you would retest again. You would do your balance and see if that made a difference. You could also move your head up and down. You could circle it all sorts of different directions. So make sure you go and retest and see if that made any difference in your movement. Okay. Then the third thing we talked about is proprioceptive. That's joint movement. Okay. There's lots of joints in the body, so obviously we can't move them all. But I'm going to give you one high payoff drill that works really well, especially for people with neck issues. It may or may not help you, but this helps a lot of people in my classes. So we're going to move the wrist because in the brain, the wrist has a big part to play. It has a more real estate in terms of what controls up there. So we're going to move our wrist. You're going to move it up and down and up and down and up and down. So just moving it in that plane can make a difference. Okay, so we can move it all different directions, but we'll just start with this one. And then you can do the other one. And you notice I'm really trying to stretch the wrist up and stretch it down. All right. And then you can go back and do your retest. So I'm standing on one leg, noticing how that feels really strong for me. 15 seconds. You go to the other side. Notice how that feels, even stronger. And then go back to your other assessment. And that's still good for me. So hopefully these showed you some improvements and showed you how moving some joints or using your eyes or your vestibular system can actually help your body move. And to relate that, how that helps with pain is when we lower the threat, because our brain has a better map, that lowers pain. Okay. Now, if you're working with me one-on-one or in my group coaching program, I'm going to give you specific ones for your brain, right? That's the key, is to actually do some testing, some assessments, and figure out what it is you need for your brain to work better and, get you out of pain or get you moving better so that you don't creak. Your joints don't creak and crack in the morning. You don't get up in pain. Maybe you try and do something that you love to do. My husband's out fishing and he just loves to do that. So we want to make sure that he can continue to do that and have fun, even when he's 80. So that's why you do this kind of stuff. All right. I love to answer your questions. If you're on Instagram, my link to my Facebook group is in my profile. I hope you go there, join my group, the Optimized Mind and Body. For all of you in the Optimized Mind and Body, I'm so happy you're in, and I love supporting you. So definitely ask me questions, because that's why I'm here. And I hope that you will, pipe in, tell me if this helped or it didn't help, and give me, if you have any questions, it gives me ideas of more things to talk about to help you all. So that's what I'm here for. And I look forward to seeing you next week. We're going to be talking about the third main thing that helps your body get out of pain and helps you move forward in your health and your physical well-being. So stay tuned for next week. I look forward to seeing you soon.